Imagine you just walked for 3 weeks straight. Your sandals are wrecked, your body is exhausted, and you're carrying everything you own in a single bag strapped across your shoulder. You finally reach Jerusalem, one of the most important cities on the face of the earth. The temple is right there in front of you, golden and massive against the sky. And all around you, in every narrow alley, and every covered passage that smells like spice and animal and sweat, merchants are watching you. They already know you're not from here. They already know you're tired, you're emotional, and you're desperate. And they've been running the same plays since before your grandfather was born. These aren't just stories from dusty old scrolls. These are documented, archaeologically confirmed, historically recorded tricks that were happening in the markets of Jerusalem 2,000 years ago. And the scary part? Every single one of them is still happening today. Maybe not in a souk in the old city, but in your city, in your online marketplace, in your everyday life. Because human nature doesn't update like software, it stays exactly the same. So let's walk the streets of ancient Jerusalem together. Let's meet the merchants, and let's figure out exactly how they would have taken your money and how you can make sure nobody ever does that to you again. Trap number one, the rigged scale. Picture this. You've just arrived in the lower city of Jerusalem after weeks of travel. You're walking down what archaeologists would later call the Pilgrimage Road, a massive 600-meter stone street. This street connected the Pool of Siloam all the way up to the Temple Mount. This street was lined on both sides with shops 2 stories high, packed with merchants. They were selling everything you could possibly need: olive oil, grain, dried fish, cloth, pottery. And you need oil. Everyone needed oil. It was food, it was fuel, it was medicine. You walk up to a merchant, you make your deal, and he pours your oil into a measuring vessel right in front of you. Looks fair, right? What you don't see is that his measuring stone, the counterweight he's using on the scale, has been carefully, almost artistically hollowed out and filled with lead on one side. The whole thing is designed to look like the official standard, but it reads just a little bit light in your favor or a little bit heavy against you, depending on whether he's buying or selling. Here's what makes this so fascinating. We know this wasn't just a occasional isolated scam. The Hebrew Bible addresses it repeatedly and with urgency. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 25, verses 13 through 16, says directly, "You shall not have in your bag 2 kinds of weights, a large and a small. You shall not have in your house 2 kinds of measures, a large and a small. A full and fair weight you shall have, a full and fair measure you shall have." The fact that Scripture had to say this, had to say it more than once, tells you everything. This was rampant. Archaeologists excavating along the ancient pilgrimage road actually discovered a rare measuring table from the Second Temple period, one of only 3 ever found in all of Israel. This stone table had deep cavities with drain holes at the bottom, designed so that a standard volume of liquid could be poured, measured, and verified. Scholars believe it was used by the agoranomos, the official market overseer, whose job was to certify weights and prevent fraud. The fact they needed a dedicated official tells you how common it was. And honestly, think about it. When was the last time you bought something by weight? At a market, at a deli counter, and you just trusted the number on the screen? The rigged scale is 2,000 years old, and it is still running strong. Trap number 2, the currency conversion scam. This one is sophisticated, this one is elegant, and this one was so embedded in the system that even the religious authorities were complicit. Here's the setup. Every Jewish man over the age of 20 was required by religious law to pay an annual temple tax, half a shekel every single year. Simple enough, right? Except the temple only accepted one specific type of coin, the Tyrian shekel, a silver coin minted in the Phoenician city of Tyre. Not Roman denarii, not Greek drachmas, only the Tyrian shekel. Now, pilgrims were flooding into Jerusalem from across the entire known world. They all had different currencies, and right there, at the gates of the temple, were the money changers, the shulhanim. Their tables were set up in the massive royal stoa, the grand colonnaded marketplace that Herod the Great had built directly above the southern wall of the Temple Mount in 19 BCE. The money changers would exchange your foreign coins for Tyrian shekels, and they charged a commission for the service. That commission was called the kolbon. And here's where it gets dirty. That commission wasn't regulated in any meaningful way. If you didn't have exact change, you could end up paying a double commission. The money changers had a widespread reputation for cheating customers. The Mishnah records that during major festivals, Passover, Shavuot, Sukkot, the tables would be absolutely overrun. The crowd, the noise, the chaos made it impossible to examine the deal you were getting. And this right here is why Jesus overturned those tables. It wasn't random anger. It was a sophisticated financial extraction machine designed to harvest money from the most vulnerable and devout. Sound familiar? Go to any international airport today. Find the currency exchange kiosk near the arrivals gate. Check the rate, then check the actual market rate on your phone. That gap, that spread between what they charge you and what the currency is actually worth, that is the kolbon. 2,000 years old and dressed in a business suit. Trap number 3, the rejected sacrifice. This one is almost cruel in how it was engineered. Jewish law required that animals brought for sacrifice at the temple be without blemish, perfect specimens, ritually clean, physically flawless. This was a serious religious requirement. Some pilgrims had been walking for weeks, even months. They brought animals with them, but those animals had to survive the journey. They had to arrive in Jerusalem in perfect condition. Who did the certifying? The temple inspectors, the same institution that also happened to be closely connected to the merchants selling pre-certified animals right there at the market. You bring your own animal. The inspector examines it and declares it rejected, blemished. But conveniently, right next to the inspection station, there's a merchant selling temple-approved animals. The price of a pair of sacrificial doves had risen to 1 golden dinar, what an unskilled laborer would earn in 25 days. The birds became so expensive, the poor could not afford them. Rabbi Simeon ben Gamaliel was so outraged he issued a ruling, and the price immediately collapsed to 1/100th of what it had been. That's not a market, that's a racket. And if you think manufactured scarcity driven by gatekeeping inspectors is a relic, look up how certain industries handle certification and licensing today. The clothes have changed, the game is the same. If you're getting value from this, hit that like button right now and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next. We cover stories like this every single week. Trap number 4, the adulterated spice. Jerusalem in the first century was not just a religious center, it was a commercial hub at the crossroads of trade routes. And nothing in that market moved more money and invited more fraud than spices. Spices were currency, medicine, religious offering, and status symbol all rolled into one. The problem was that spices are incredibly easy to fake. A pilgrim had no way of knowing if he was buying genuine saffron or cleverly dyed plant fiber. He had no laboratory. Merchants used techniques to stretch expensive spices, sand mixed in to increase weight, cheap oils to make inferior product look fresh, lower-grade herbs ground to look like saffron. The spice market, the souk al-atarin, was a sensory experience almost deliberately disorienting. When your senses are overwhelmed, your critical thinking slows down. Tell me that's different from a high-end store with carefully engineered lighting and scent diffusers specifically to make you spend more. Tell me it's different, I dare you. Trap number 5, the holy relic that wasn't. This is the one that hits differently, because it doesn't exploit greed, it exploits faith. The trade in holy objects and religiously significant souvenirs is as old as Jerusalem itself. Pilgrims wanted something that carried some fragment of divine proximity back with them. Merchants were not shy about manufacturing supply. Fragments of the true cross, pieces of stone from the temple, oil from ancient sacred trees, these circulated in markets for centuries. If you assembled all the pieces of the true cross being venerated across European churches, you could build a small house. The sale was made not to the customer's brain, but to their heart. The relic market never closed, it just rebranded. Think about the last time you paid a premium for something because of what it represented: a souvenir, a jersey, a special ingredient. So here we are, 2,000 years removed. The rigged scale is an algorithm, the currency scam is a payment processor, and the rejected sacrifice is a gatekeeper inspection system. The adulterated spice is every supplement and premium ingredient that delivers more marketing than substance, and the holy relic is every platform that sells you belonging rather than function. The best defense, then and now, is the same. Slow down. Know the real price before you walk into the negotiation. Understand the system before you participate in it. Jerusalem is still there. The narrow alleys of the old city souk are still there, smelling of spice and coffee and centuries of commerce. You feel it, a sense of continuity. The merchants changed, the methods adapted, the traps stayed exactly the same. Thank you for watching. If this video made you think, share it with someone who needs to see it.